afternoon, we're going to learn something I'm very interested in.
Yes.
Yes. Because I have, I think, a book inside of me. How about you?
Yes.
We want to get it out. It's just a matter of knowing how do we do it. How do we publish it? What's the cover going to look like? What do we write? These are the answers we'll hopefully have when we walk out of here this afternoon. Today, our speaker is Mr. Fred Haley. Mr. Haley's been a Toastmaster for 15 years. And he has 2 DTMs. Wow. On point. So I guess he is an expert. More importantly, Fred has already published 6 books. And he's recently published one with his wife. He has 3 of these books on Amazon.com. So what are we going to do when we leave?
Check it out.
Amazon.com and read what Fred Haley has to offer. Today, Fred is going to use Toastmasters to impress us to show us how to complete a book from thought to print. He's going to use a simple outline. You've got the notes from the handout there. And he's going to show you some of the resources that will help us get this energy, this drive that we have to publish out this year, 2015. So at this time, I really want to welcome with interactive workshop, Mr. Fred Haley.
So welcome to the Future Bestsellers Book Club. And I am here to make sure you stay a permanent member of that and advance to the full-time Bestsellers Club. Question, how many of you have no interest in writing a book or helping somebody else write a book? No interest at all? 1 person. Okay.
I had to be honest.
That's okay. Thing is, by the end of this session, you are going to be able to help somebody else. You can help somebody else. Good. For those of you who did not raise your hand if you already have an idea of a topic in mind. So most of you do, but some of you don't. Very good. Keep your hand up if you've already started working on that book. Some of you have, but not as many hands. Keep it up if you've already finished the book. 2, 3, good. Keep it if you've published it. Okay, we are going to answer all of those questions. We're going to talk about how to pick a topic, how to start your book, how to finish your book, and how to publish it today. And using Toastmasters. And not having to write anything. Sound interesting?
Yes.
Now, why do I know about this? How do I know? I published 6 books, as I said. Some of them were small books. Best Mom in the World, Best Dad in the World. Those are some of my first stops, and these were books that I gave to my email list at the time. I would create these and send them out as Father's Day and Mother's Day, just as little tidbits, little gifts for some of my email members. I wrote a book, How to Lose Weight. I lost 100 pounds.
Wow.
I wrote a book on how to lose weight. I also wrote a companion book, 21 Tips for Keeping It Off. Separately, I wrote a book, Love Letters to My Wife. Nice little one. If you want to get a tearjerker, buy the Kleenex first and then read it. And then recently, I finished a book with my wife on caregiving. This is a nice big book that's for sale that she's been doing, using her radio show. And this is really where I learned a lot, and did it most recently, things and lessons that I can show you today. Oh yes, which are on Amazon. The weight loss book is on Kindle. The love letters and the caregiving are both Kindle and paperback. You can do one or the other or both. First question, most important question. What do you think that question is?
Why?
Pardon?
Why do you want to?
Exactly. Why do you want to write a book? So you all have a handout. And for some very specific reason, it has a line for you to put your name on it. So put your name on it. Why? Because I want you to use this as motivation to continue. Take this back after today. Keep looking at it. Keep working on it. Keep updating it. Until you finish that book.
A couple extra handouts.
How about your, I think I gave you the extra handouts. Okay, then here's my handouts. Yes, we all want to have a handout. We all want to put that in. First question on there. Why do you want to write a book? Start to write some ideas. I'm going to ask for a few ideas in a couple seconds, but I want you to start thinking about this because the more you can write, the more reasons you can write on why to do this, the more likely you will be to finish your book. If you just have one or two reasons, it may not be enough for you. If you could write, if you could fill this page, if you could fill 2 or 3 columns, if you could fill the back or your extra paper, you can take the extra evaluation form and write it back. The more you put out, the more likely you will be to finish that book, especially if you keep this paper. Has anybody already written down some ideas why they want to write the book? Why do you want to write the book?
For the love.
Say that?
For the love of it.
For the love of the book. Good.
I want people to know that God is real and loves.
You want people to know God is real. So you have a specific message you want to get across.
Not just that he's real, but that he loves.
And He loves it. Good. Very good.
I want to write I've got a title in mind too, but I want to write a book because ministry doesn't live as a good idea, predominantly. And we lose so many ministers in the first 3 years of their ministry.
Good.
I wrote down innate desire, inborn intelligence, money, rapport, I am worthy, and I am a winner.
That's good.
I want to reach a larger audience, and I
Larger
want
audience.
to walk with people through their trials.
Perfect. Very good.
Like Bruce Wayne, who lost his family as a small child and became Batman to vanquish the evil. So, I went through a horrific divorce and basically lost my pants, my shirt, my everything, including my daughter.
I'm glad you have today.
I was very well dressed. And, I'm not saying, in closing,
That's good.
In closing, I'm not saying Sue Szymanski was a gold digger, but I sure wasn't a broke doctor when we met. I only became fiscally challenged post-divorce syndrome. Now, on my rise, I will write a book so I can help others avoid the trappings.
The very first goal of anybody who's a speaker or anybody who's a writer is, I call it AV, add value. The very first thing you need to think about when you're up here is not what you're saying, but how you can add value, how you can solve somebody's problem, or how you can give them information that they can use to be better. Add value. All of your reasons were that. But there may be some personal one. You may be wanting to impress your mother-in-law who thinks you're a deadbeat. I don't know. Could be one. Impress your dad who didn't think you'd be able to do anything. And maybe just have that credibility to say that you are an author when you want to go out. Give me all of the above and write them down. Which ones are meaningful to you and write them down. Well, as you do that, start to think of the second question. What is stopping you from writing a book? Me?
Super creative, lame excuses.
Very good. Anybody say, well, I'm too busy with work and home and Toastmasters and Jared Donega, division governors and past division governors and future division governors are going to say that.
The publisher.
The publisher, well, that's a different. I'll get rid of the publisher. No.
I know some people. We can take care of that.
The bottom line that's stopping me from writing my book is not believing that I
that there's going to be some value, some reason for you to do it, then you can start to believe that you can at least go and do it. It doesn't have to be a perfect book.
Just not knowing how exactly.
Not knowing how. Excellent. Yes.
Finding the right example. It's planning to be a textbook.
Okay. Finding the right example. Good.
For the right example for what?
He was talking about a textbook.
Math textbook.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
I teach math.
Good.
I'm sorry.
And that's good because I love math too. I don't know how to write a book on that either. Start to think about it. Then you can start to answer that third question. And I'm not going to ask for feedback, but you've already started giving some ideas and yourself some ideas. How would it help your audience? Again, if you want to write a book, it's not for yourself, it's for your readers, it's for your listeners. So how will you help them? Once you start to think about that answer, you can go to the next page and start to answer the second most important question. What is your topic? Some of you already talked about a topic. Do you have a topic for your book?
Yes.
What?
Recent transplant.
Good! Yes, recent transplant. She told me before that she just moved here from New Jersey after living up there for all her life. Can you tell she's a smart person? She moved to Florida. Yes!
I thought you meant in Oregon.
What is your book about? What can it be about? It can be about anything that will be something you're interested in, you're passionate about, something you've done. It may be starting a business, it may be moving, maybe having gone through a difficult trial, a divorce, being bankrupt, or maybe you just made a whole bunch of money. Has anybody won big money in the lottery? Okay. I was hoping to find someone who could write that book, and how I could win a bunch of money. Does it have to be a book that applies to everybody?
No.
No. Most people start to think, well, yeah, I have to write a book that everyone's interested in. It may be a book. How many people move in a year to different? There are some, but there are not that many. But there are other people who will be going through that same problem, that same situation that she just did. The same people, or other people will be going through the same problem, the same issue, or wanting to have the same information that you already have. When you write the book, you are helping, who's your audience? You. Your audience is the future you. The person that you used to be, that you struggle with, but now that new person is going to be the person that you were. So you write for you. How could I avoid those mistakes? Your topic is one. I said, what's your topic and what's your audience want? You know what your audience wants? The audience wants just what you wanted. Start to think about those two questions. What's my topic? Something I'm interested in. Something that I would have liked the help for. Now, for the purpose of this workshop, I want you to pick a topic. It doesn't have to be your final book topic. You can change it as you go along. This whole workshop is just to give you the process. Well, for right now, think about one topic you have in mind. Think about one topic. And here's 3 options for a book outline. It could be other, but most of them fit within here. First, a how-to book. What's a how-to book?
How to
Well,
do math.
Sure, how to do math. Sure. How to do math. If you have a topic you're interested in, but you don't think you're an expert, a second way of doing it is interviewing other people. Ask other experts. My wife is an expert on caregiving, but she interviews other people, and she wrote this book. We wrote this book on caregiving by interviewing other experts on her radio show. That's a nice big book, and it's a really fun book to read. But Look how she did it. She interviewed. Or it could be a storyboard. You may have a story that you want to go through. Now that you have your topic, you can pick what outline you think you might want to do. Look at the outline. Start to plan your book. Start to picture the chapters, the table of contents. And that's the most important part. That is a very important part, is start to plan your table of contents. How are you going to outline that book? You start by an introduction, who I am, why I started this book. The forward is usually, here's what I'm going to talk to you about, here's what this whole purpose and the whole message of my book is, and then you go into the process. 1, 2, 3, 4, 10, 20, whatever number of steps it takes. And then finally, a conclusion. Here's what you learned, go out and use it. First step was to figure out why you want to write it and get motivated to do it. Second step is to start planning it. Those are pretty critical steps. There's an old riddle I heard, I love to say once in a while, is 3 birds sitting on a wire. 2 of them decide to get off. How many are left? Pardon? All of them! All of them are still there because they only made the decision. They did not take any action. And until you take the action, nothing changes. I want you to take the action. Now you can think about what your outline is going to be, but until you start to write your book's not going to go anywhere. Make sense? How do you do that? Here's what you have: a specific, an unusual, a major opportunity. You're in Toastmasters. You have to give speeches every once in a while. How often do you say right now, I have to give a speech next week and I don't know what to talk about? Yes, you do. Well, I'm already talked about the first 3 sections. Why I can't talk about number 4? People haven't listened to it. The goal of Toastmasters is not to do that. It's to help you to give your speech and to outline and to present it. So you can tell the Toastmaster when you're introducing me, tell them I'm on chapter 4 of my book. And you've already covered this and here's the next step. You can outline your book. You can present your book. All right. So what? You're presenting your book. Who writes their speeches before they give them? I don't. To be honest, I don't. What do? What am I doing now? I'm taping it. And I'm taping it. You record your speeches. Yeah. Not many of it, but yes, record your speeches. That way, you can go back and you can get them transcribed later on. But what if you have a lot of chapters, a lot of information, or you give a speech and think, that was a great chapter, but it's not good enough, I want to change it. You remember a club where it's really hard to get scheduled for a speech? Some of us are.
So join another club.
Good! Exactly! Yes! How many club members, how many clubs can you be a member of? What's the maximum number? There is no maximum, except you how much time you have. I, one time, was a member of 5 different clubs. They didn't all meet on the same week. I could do that. One of them met once a month. But if more often more members, the more clubs I was a member of, the more often I had the opportunity to give a speech. Which meant the more opportunity I had to write a book. Now I'll tell you a mistake that I made. I have been doing this for a while. I've been writing email newsletters for a year. And I just came up with that idea and started writing it. And then would give it as a speech. I didn't think about planning it out ahead of time. Now I think if I had only thought to outline my book, that way my newsletters would have been the future book. My speeches would have been the future newsletters, which would have been the future book. I would have saved myself a whole lot of time. And I've been a published author a whole lot easier and a whole lot faster. That was a mistake that I made that I don't want you to make. Think about it. I suggest, asking you, encourage you to start planning your book now. Start planning your speeches now. Then you can start planning your book to get finished now. Okay, you do that. You go. If you have to do it more than once, can you do the same speech more than one time?
Yes.
Anybody say no? Correct. You do not. You can do your speech more than one time. Each time you do it, it will be better. Sure. Join more than one club, as she said. Do it more often. You get a better speech, a better audio speech, and then a better book chapter. What do you do next? How do you transcribe a book?
With an assistant.
Say that again?
Get an assistant. Get an assistant.
Get an assistant. Yes. No, that's exactly right. In the back page, back of your handout. That's what we did. I can go on this website called Fiverr, Fiverr.com. It's not great quality, but it works. And I can get 10 minutes of speech transcribed for $5, 50 cents a minute. Okay. One speech is $5. 10 speeches, $50, but it saves you a lot of time. If you want a better quality, you can go to another website called Elance or Freelance and get it. And that's what I've done because I wanted a better quality. Ask for bids and get the lowest bid. I had bids from $100 to $500. I had people from, actually the person I used was from Paraguay, but she could do a great job. And she laid it out well. Yes, you can transcribe your book. You can get it done, you can do it yourself. If you are already written out your speech, it's something you should do. But even if you transcribe your book, even if you write out your book, your speech, you're going to change it when you give it. Get it there. And then what do? You start to put it together. Oh, yes. Now, go back to that second page, the outline. The how-to book and the interview book. The introduction. Explain who you are, why you wrote the book. What does that sound like?
Icebreaker.
An icebreaker speech. Do a new icebreaker speech. How many CCs can you do in a year?
As many as you can.
As many as you want. Forward. Summarize your message and how your book will help readers. What does that sound like? Speech number 2. Organize your speech. Conclusions. Lessons. Motivate and inspire your readers to take action. What does that sound like? Speech number 10. So your steps would be speech 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, maybe. What have I told you? That you can do a book without writing a book by giving speeches, and as a bonus, you're giving yourself and your club extra credit with the CC. Cool. I like that idea. You're giving everybody some help. And then who are you helping? Your members, because they're getting the information, and your future readers.
And you're getting feedback.
And you're getting feedback. So if you want to change it, yes, you can. How big a book do you want? Think about this. This book is about 150 pages. This book is about 40. $5 for a $40 book, $15 for a 150-page book. How much do you want? Or do you just want to give your book away? Do you think you're going to be a millionaire by writing your book?
Oh, yes.
We have one millionaire, and she's going to share it all with us. You're not going to write your book. We told you about the other reason. When I asked you in that first question, what was your reason for a book? One person mentioned money, but nobody mentioned becoming a millionaire or retiring.
Is that possible?
Yes, it's possible. It's always going to be possible. Is it expected? If it's a bonus. Your goal was not to make money. Your goal is to help others. If you are lucky and have a topic and have a presentation that helps others, then you can do that. And let me give you a third bonus. Eventually, you can take these tapes, transcribe it into an audiobook. There are other products you can use with that. We can talk about that at another time. You can even have an audiobook for those people who don't like to read or who read by driving in their car. Me. Yeah. The math man. Yeah. Sure. Okay. We have a few minutes left. Well, we have about 15 minutes. What I'd like you to, some of you to do, the third page is the page that you really want to start working on. The page. Did I start to circulate the sign-in sheet?
Yes.
Okay, good. I will email this to you so you can start doing it in Word. Because this is helpful for you to continue to look at. I will also email you the link to the YouTube channel that will have the video on this, if you're interested. Take a couple of seconds. Start to outline your topic, how it will help, and what the topic will be. And if someone would like to share that, I'll ask you to. I'm writing 3 new books. One is that the weight loss book I'm rewriting. Actually, here's what I'm doing. I have a book, and there's another tip. When I give my speeches, most often, Jared's heard me say this before, I have a worksheet. It does 3 things. 1, it helps keep you involved. 2, it helps keep me on track. And 3, you know the answer. When I write my book, it becomes part of the book. Yeah, I can add pages to it. I can add pages that help the audience. If you want a better book that helps, in some cases, this may be very helpful for you. To have a handout that can become a future book. I'm writing a book on rewriting the weight loss. I'm writing a book on becoming a professional speaker, starter guide. And I'm writing a book on how to create your own book. I think I've got a good start. I got a good start. Anybody would like to share some of your thoughts right now on what you've done?
Well, my book, you couldn't really give it a speech as a drawing or as a book as a material.
Okay.
And it's a walk through early American literature, which is really perfect for children.
Cool.
Oh, cool.
That's
But for your
You could have hand up.
presentation or PowerPoint or just one big draft, you can use that as a PowerPoint and just talk it, record it, and then put that in there. I will mention, if you want to publish this on Amazon, I'll be talking about that in a minute too. It's much more expensive to do it in color. If you do it in black and white, it's pretty inexpensive. How expensive? This book is in black and white inside, but and we can profit about $6 by selling it for $15. But if I put it in color, I could lose $10 by selling it for $15. So like $10, $15 a book more. But it's your choice. Stan.
I do have a couple 100-page book that I worked on, and it's full of color. And I learned that because I originally started off with I want to say 6x9 format, that the publisher charged the same price to print the book if it was an 8x10 format.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to shrink down the number of pages by changing the format, and the cost per page was exactly the same.
Good point. Yeah. I did put some notes in there about how to increase and also how to reduce the size of the book. I mentioned if you want to write a book, 1 7-minute speech, you figure about 150 words a minute, that's about 4 to 6 minutes. So about 1,000 words. 10,000 words is about 70 minutes. So one speech is about 4 to 6 pages, about 1,000, 1,100 words. 10,000 words is about 10 speeches, 40 to 45 pages. You can add and subtract. You can change around the number of pages by using a different font, different spacing, different book size, worksheets. And there are also going to be about 8, 10 pages that you will add in there for extra information. The copyright, the cover, the disclaimer, some of these things that I've listed in the table of contents is just an extra page. So you'll start to help you think about how many pages your book will be.
In your Kindle editions, did you add any hot links or multimedia rich anything?
I did not for that one, no. But you're right, you can. That's a good point. You can go out and publish it on your own. There are some self-publishing companies on publishing on demand. I like to use, for convenience, Kindle, the Amazon. And Amazon does have, and it's in the back, Amazon does have a place that you can print, get it on demand, and they'll sell it on Amazon. It's called CreateSpace. CreateSpace.com, and you can do that. There are some formatting requirements. There's some questions on several other things that you would have to work with. It took me a long time to figure out how to get through this, but now that I've gotten through it, I like to share about it. But the nice part about the CreateSpace is that it will actually help you to get it published on Kindle at almost the same time, right after you finish this. Again, some minor formatting changes that you can do. It's nice. And then I can have this book available, Kindle or paperback, whichever you're on the form. The nice part about CreateSpace is that I can also buy volume myself and go out and sell it myself if I go to a bookstore or an event. If I want to go and sell a bunch of these at a Toastmasters conference, I can do that. It was CreateSpace.com. Is that what your question is?
Well, how much does it cost? Do you or what?
Now, let me talk about some other costs. Some of my other costs, editing, I mentioned about the transcribing. That was about 50, 75 cents, maybe $1 a page, depending on how good a quality you want. Or how technical it is. If it's a math one, it might need some special person. Create your own cover and get it from $5 to $40. Editing was $20 to $40 to get it correct and put it in the right format. So it cost me, this was about $150 to do. So this is a good book. This one didn't cost as much, I didn't put as much effort into it. You can get a free cover on CreateSpace. They have some limited templates that you can use. But it can be even cheaper if you want. It's page range. And there's also a question on your ISBN code, it's the little barcode in the back, that it can be free if you just want to sell it through Amazon, or it could be $100 if you want to sell it anywhere. You have some options. It could be $100 to $300, depends on your cost, plus your time. But you'll have a book. You can probably make the money back. Even if you can't, you have the credibility to go out and use it to speak. You use it to go out and help others. Use it to go out and help make a difference. Or use it to go out and help do a workshop at a Toastmasters scale. Yeah, a question over here. Sorry.
But like mine, I can't do any of that stuff because it has to go through this as a copyright.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. So you would have to, there's some other issues you would have for that, yeah. Unless you created your own character.
Yeah, what does that have to be?
Yeah. You may have your own reason for it. But you might not. You might want to think about it. What's your question? No.
No, the cricket who covered out
Yeah.
the original Italian story.
That Disney bought.
Yeah.
Changed it to their own.
It's something you would have to look at. He thinks it's public domain. I'm not sure about that. In certain cases, depends on your topic and your issue. You may have some copyright issues, but you should check them out. But if you start to write the book, you start to print it, you have already created a copyright. You don't need to do a whole bunch of stuff to copyright it to go out and send it to the government to say it's copyrighted. Put down a copyright. You keep some documentation that you do this first. You've got the copyright. Question.
Why would you write the first one?
This one?
Sure.
This one I wrote a personal story. My wife passed away. I was just in grief, wrote some letters to her. But then I had this feeling I wanted to share it. I shared it. People liked it. I decided to put it into a book.
Thank you.
The other ones, the best mother and best father, I wanted to do something for my mom and dad. So I asked other people what they thought and used it. The weight loss. And this last book, I want my wife to go out and do more with her caregiving work. She's on the radio, she does a whole bunch of other things. She does a lot of speaking. She could use that national, the statewide credibility by having a book. So, motivation. That was my motivation for each one. Plus a bunch of other things. And none of them were make $1 million.
That was just a bonus.
That would be a bonus, yeah. And it's about 999,000 plus away. Jared.
Once you've written your book, what are the best ways to promote it?
Handing in the book. Usually it's going out and talking and using that in the back of the room to sell. That's what you can do. Go to a Rotary, say, I want to talk to you for about 20 minutes on this. Here's a topic that nobody mentioned, and maybe there's nobody in this room yet, well, maybe one person, running for district governor. How do you run for district governor? How do you win a speech contest? I started to write one on speech contest, interviewing the contestants, and Toastmasters didn't like the idea at the time, so I backed off, but it's still a good idea, and it's maybe a way of doing it. How do you win a speech contest? That's an interview. Or if you've already won a speech contest, write your book about it. Brian Avery has his whole marketing thing, his whole international winner a couple of years ago. His whole program was on how he, based on how he won the contest. And he has a good book.
What if you have a lot of ideas for a lot of different books? How do you choose? How do you keep it organized?
Good question. If you can keep writing the notes, pick one. Pick one to start with. Pick one you're most passionate about, most knowledgeable on. Or the one that you find most people are already asking you about. There are some people who keep asking about something, you keep helping them, that's a perfect one to start with, because you know you have this built-in on. We've only got a few minutes left, so one thing I like to do instead of asking for questions, is there any, well, I will ask any more questions right now. Then I've got one other thing I want to do.
I have a question.
Okay?
How do you turn your speeches into a newsletter? Would you?
Same way. You can take it and just edit it a little bit, saying, what you ready to say is about this, and it really is. When you give a speech, my line is never give a speech. Never give a speech again. Have a conversation. Just talk to your audience. You talk to your audience, you're same as them reading that, you're talking to them in written words instead of spoken words. Publish it that. You can edit around a little bit, but it doesn't have to be long, it doesn't have to be stilted. It should be a conversational style.
Turn around,
Okay?
I was publicity for our chapter, and part of it was that you write an article for the community newspaper, and you're going under Toastmasters, and you write about what it means to be a Toastmaster, or it's your point of view, but that way the newspaper has it as it's under community, and it's about Toastmasters. So Toastmasters becomes your vehicle for your article. And as you have made your speeches, as you were saying, your icebreaker and all that, that first manual, you will find that it will come out in the story. They'll tell you how many words that they want it under and all that. And you will see it flow out. And as you're saying, a conversation. And because you are a Toastmaster, it will give you a different voice in your article. And you'll go, who's that? Who wrote that? Because you're going to see, as you're talking about your microphone, your speeching, your feedback and all that, it's all going to come out on paper, and you'll grow. And then when you come give another speech, you have grown from your writing, so now you grow in your speech preparation.
Good point, very good. The way I like to end my workshops is not by questions, but by asking you one question. There's 45 people or so here. I bet each one of you picked up something different. So if somebody, just tell me one thing that you've learned today that you can use. Gary.
I like how you emphasized having a voice recorder and then using like Dragon Speaking to transcribe it, or even the other services. That's really key, that you don't have to actually sit down and write your book.
Very good. Right.
I'm fascinated by drawing on the work I've already done in the 10 speeches, putting them down.
Very good. It's perfect.
You don't have to be an expert. You just got to stay creative and curious.
Perfect. Very good.
I'm reinforced because this is exactly what I've been doing. I started over doing my CC again.
Perfect. Very good.
To make your speech a conversation. I felt
yes.
that was a nice hint.
Okay. Well done. Thank you.
I take away today to just do it, because a lot of times we procrastinate. But now we just gotta do it.
Just do it. Excellent. It's stealing somebody else's line, but that's okay. Somebody else?
Well, I appreciate the resources that you put on here, and it looks like you're making yourself available as a resource. So I appreciate that.
Happy to. If you have any questions, I'll email it to you if you put your name and information on this, and I'll send you and ask you if I can give any help, let me know. Anybody else?
Where is the sign?
Yeah, where is the
I
never made it
We
here.
haven't gotten over
Here you
here.
go. Well, see me afterwards. We got 15 minutes after here, so see me and do that. Or my email address is on the bottom of the worksheet also. Oh. Excuse me, it's ready. Yeah, Toastmasters.com. Next, TLI, there will be 50 people on your way to creating books and getting them published. And in a year from now, there will be 50 people more on Amazon. Is that correct? Yes. And there will be 50 people who will come to me and saying, thank you, and I will be saying, thank you. I will be saying, thank you for helping me. Because when you're doing it, I'm learning too. Yeah. Do you have anything? And while you go back up, remember the points. Figure out, make a commitment. Start to plan your book. Then transcribe it, and then get it published. Very simple. Easy, but they're not easy. Figure out your motivation, figure out your topic, plan that book, which is planning your speeches, and get it transcribed and published. Well done all. Back to you.